What's up guys, it's Bryce here. Today I'm going to be showing you one of my ball python setups so you can get some ideas and hear my thoughts on how to set up a ball python enclosure. So right next to me here we have the setup for Stripe, my female ball python, a Mojave ball python of 6 years old. I actually produced her way back in 2013, December of 2013, that's why I said 6 years. 6 years and a few months. So she resides in this enclosure over here. She absolutely loves it. So let me start off by explaining how I set this enclosure up from bottom to top. So as for the dimensions of the enclosure, it is 110 centimeters wide by 55 centimeters high by approximately 55 centimeters deep too. I haven't measured it, so I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll also put it up in feet and inches just so you guys can all see the size of my enclosure. As for starting on the bottom and working our way up, at the bottom I have a heat pad in the enclosure connected to a thermostat that controls the temperature. Currently sitting at about 29 degrees Celsius on the hot spot and about 24 degrees Celsius on the cool spot. So in my opinion, it is important to give the animals a temperature gradient throughout the seasons. What I mean by that is summer will obviously be hotter than winter and autumn. Currently it is autumn, so I'm busy cooling the animals down, even though I'm not actually going to be breeding any of the ball pythons this year. Why I feel it's important to cool your animals down is because we try to create as natural a habitat as possible for the animals in captivity, as close to the wild as possible. So in doing that, the wild obviously has temperature gradients, so I would like to replicate that in my enclosures as well. So before the heat pad, the whole enclosure was actually sealed with a nice pond sealant that is non-toxic, because I want to be able to spray the enclosure down and not worry about the wood soaking up the water and becoming rotten. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So let's talk about substrate mix now. Mine is an organic potting soil mix with cocoa chips that obviously I added to the potting soil mix, and cocoa fiber, as well as some custodians that are in there. I'm pretty sure I killed off the custodians because, yeah, I didn't give them any food to eat. So I haven't seen any of them about, but I'm sure there are some still lingering about there, as well as some other bit of cleanup crew like springtails. And then I also added a nice bit of moss just so I can hold humidity nicely, and it just makes the cage look that much better. So after the substrate, I decided to put a few rocks on the hot spot in the enclosure. And my reasoning for this is because the heat pad will heat up the rocks will hold the temperature a lot longer. So when the thermostat switches off, you don't have these drastic drops in temperature. So the rocks will actually hold on to that heat for that much longer, enabling me to also get the generator up and running when we have our regular load shedding, which is a big thing here in South Africa. Basically no electricity. Then what I want to inspire you to do is to become creative. You can literally do anything with these enclosures. You can get wood, rocks and all that stuff from outside, but make sure you clean it properly, disinfect it and get it ready for your enclosure before you put it in the enclosure. So there's a video linked up here in this card to show you how to do that safely without harming your animals. That's what I did for all the decorations here. I would advise you to also go through and clean all your hides and stuff that you get from a reptile shop, even because it has been sitting on the shop for quite a while and you don't know what it's been collecting. So just give it a clean and then put it in your snake's enclosure. So I've got a few things here in the cage for my snake to climb. Ball pythons actually freaking love climbing. I'm so impressed and like mind blown how much they enjoy it. My one snake has literally got a bit of an identity crisis and changed herself into more of a green tree python because she literally spends more time up in her branch than she does on the floor. So although these are terrestrial species, terrestrial doesn't mean that they only live on the ground. They will climb from time to time. So you got to provide them with that height so they're able to do that. Because even this amount of height, that means they're terrestrial, even if they way up here. And honestly, it's so rewarding to see your animals use every bit of the enclosure because they enjoy it so much, especially when they're out and about climbing. So this is in no way the end product of this enclosure. It's going to continually get better and better. I want to add a few new branches and stuff like that and a bit more foliage in order to keep the snake a bit more entertained and to build muscle. So one thing I need to add is, since I've given my snakes the ability to climb around their enclosures and explore, I've actually found that they need a little bit more food than they would if they are in tubs, because they're actually burning fat when they're gliding through the enclosures, and they're also building up their muscles. So it's really healthy and it's good for your animals to do. As for lighting, I've just set up 2 temporary lights here just so you guys can see the enclosure in the video, because sadly all my lights in all my cages, because they were all connected, they all blew at once, and now I have to, save up to get new light fixtures in there. So that is one thing I want to talk about. You can provide your ball pythons with UVB. It is not necessary, but I would highly recommend it because nothing but good things can come from it. It's not going to harm your animals in any way, so just provide it if you can, and your animals will thrive from it. So that's my basic ball python setup. Hope you enjoy it, and my snakes really do enjoy it. So I'm going to continually make it better and better as the future, you know what I mean. I just want to give out a huge shout out to my Patreons. I really appreciate you guys. You have supported me so much, and I just have no words to say thank you. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Remember to go out, learn, explore, inspire, and live it.